The story of the Jeep Wrangler is a transformation from a World War II hero to a global symbol of adventure. While the Wrangler nameplate only debuted in 1986, its lineage is over 80 years old. Back in 1940, the US Army didn't want luxury, they didn't want comfort. They wanted something simple, light, and unstoppable. A vehicle that could go anywhere, in deserts, in jungles, in war zones. That's when Willys Overland answered the call. What they built wasn't just a car, it was a weapon. The Willys MB. Powered by a legendary God Devil engine, it was raw, loud, and brutally effective. Over 600,000 units flooded the battlefield across the world. But there's a twist. When the war ended, the war machine refused to disappear. What happens when a war machine comes home but still has work to do? Well, in 1945, soldiers returned home. The Jeep didn't retire, but instead of fading away, it evolved into something civilian. Something anyone could own. The CJ civilian Jeep. It all started with the CJ2A. Farmers didn't see a vehicle, they saw a tool. It could plow fields, power machinery, carry loads across impossible terrain. It became the Swiss Army knife on wheels. And then over time, it started evolving. The CJ5, tougher, smoother, more refined, it stayed in production for nearly 30 years. Then the CJ7, longer, more stable, and for the first time, comfortable air conditioning, automatic transmission. And just when it started feeling like a normal car, something changed. Something that would redefine it forever. The CJ didn't fail, it evolved into something the world wasn't ready for. In 1986, CJ era ended. But instead of disappearing, it transformed. In its place, a new name appeared, the Jeep Wrangler. And immediately people noticed something was off. Square headlights, and for the first time, Jeep didn't look like a Jeep. It was the YJ generation, and fans hated it. But Jeep wasn't trying to impress people, they were fixing problems. The CJ had a reputation of being unstable at high speeds, so instead, the YJ came wider, more planned and safer. It wasn't trying to be loved, it was trying to survive, and because of that decision, the Jeep lived on. This is the moment Jeep stopped compromising and became unstoppable, because in 1997, the TJ generation arrived. And just like that, everything changed. The all-rounded headlights returned. But that wasn't the real revolution, because underneath everything changed. They ditched the leaf springs and introduced coil suspension. And because of that, everything improved. More articulation off-road, better grip on rocks, and finally, a smoother ride on highways. And then Jeep took it even further with the Rubicon in 2003. It wasn't just a trim. It was a factory-built off-road monster. Locking differentials, heavy-duty axles, no modification needed. Jeep wasn't surviving anymore, it was dominating. At this moment, Jeep stopped playing small. Because in 2007, everything changed. A completely redesign. The JK generation. And this is where the real shift happened. For the first time ever, Jeep added 2 more doors, and that's how the Wrangler Unlimited was born. And just like that, everything changed. Now it wasn't just for off-roaders or hardcore enthusiasts. It was for families. Daily driving, city life, and sales exploded. The Wrangler had become a lifestyle, but somehow after all that, it didn't lose its soul. In a world full of fake SUVs, this one still takes its doors off. Because in 2018, the JL generation arrived. More refined, more advanced, more powerful. But at the same time, it stayed true. Solid axles, removable doors, fold-down windshield. Things no any other SUV would dare keep. But it didn't stop there, because something else started to grow. Not on the road, but between people. Things like the Jeep Wave and Jeep Ducking. And just like that, owning a Jeep wasn't just about the car anymore. It became a community, a tribe. At this point, Jeep Wrangler stopped being a car and became a climbing machine. Modern Wranglers aren't just capable, they're engineered differently. Electronic sway bars disconnect so the wheels can move freely. 100 to 1 crow ratio, so the engine works while the wheels barely move. which means you can climb an insane terrain slowly, precisely, effortlessly. Because underneath it all, you have heavy-duty Dana 44 exhaust. This isn't just normal engineering, it is built to dominate. Electric power, luxury interiors, and somehow it's still a Jeep. Now here's the crazy part. The modern Wrangler is more advanced than ever, with a big touchscreen, trail navigation, water-resistant electronics, but at the same time, it never lost what made it a Jeep. And this is where things get interesting. There is a 4xe hybrid, silent with instant torque, and then the Rubicon 392, loud and aggressive because it carries a V8. Two completely different features in one machine. Most cars evolve, but this one survived everything. From war zones, farms, cities, mountains. The Jeep Wrangler never changed its purpose, it just got better at it. It was never the fastest, never the most comfortable, but there was never the point to. Because along the way, it didn't just survive, it became the blueprint. Most SUVs you see today, they exist because of the Willys Jeep. Toyota, Land Rover, Ford, everyone followed the same idea. And in the same process, it became something bigger, a symbol of freedom and adventure. And that's why more than 8 years later, the spirit of the Willys MB is still alive, but wearing a different name. So guys, if you like stories like this, make sure to subscribe so that I can keep on making videos like this.